Hey guys, it's Cindy over at paper.old.new. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me today. I have been working on a kit for St. Patrick's Day. This one is St. Patrick, so not like all of the beer and the all the fun stuff about St. Patrick's Day that we use to celebrate and all that. But it does have some of the Irish flair. There's 4-leaf clovers represented, and the Irish flag is on here and stuff like that. But this is dedicated to the prayer on the breastplate of St. Patrick. And it's in sections. If you ever look it up, it's got like a couple of different sections. So I broke it up into its sections and then kind of centered the kit around that. As usual, you can find this. It is up in my shop. You can find this in landscape. You can find it in tall, narrow. Okay. We'll probably flip through the landscape and then, you can find the tall, narrow in the shop. I also did minis. You'll see that these colors are a little dulled. I experimented with my printer. I've talked to you in the past about, depending on how you print it and what settings you put it on and what program you allow to determine the colors, it can look different. So as you can see with the minis, I had, I printed part of it, in different settings. So you can see you can get it kind of dulled down if you want, or you can, get it bright. It's going to depend on all the things I've talked about in the past. But this kit does come in minis. And then we will go through the ephemera. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is the kit itself. And you'll see images of St. Patrick with parts of the prayer. So I had never read the entire prayer. I've heard parts of it. It's a very beautiful prayer, and I thought it would be a great way to look at St. Patrick's Day. And we're going into Lent, and I didn't really do a Lenten kit like I did last year. So I did this kind of I wouldn't say instead, but this was the prayer kit I kind of did this year, going into spring, I guess you'd say. So here it is. So we have images of St. Patrick. And again, pieces of the prayer. Here's what I was talking about. So we have the flag, represented here, and in the background there behind St. Patrick on this one. I also tried to do different colors as far as the backgrounds here related to the backgrounds that you see, the Celtic knots or whatever background I used. And then with this one, you've got the garden of clovers down here. And for this one, again, you have the flag represented behind Patrick there. Over here in the background, you'll see Christ kneeling to pray. So I felt that was kind of strong in the background, and you'll see it in the ephemera kit as well. So prayer cards and whatnot. Oops. Okay. Here's some of the clovers represented again. I'm getting used to the fact that this paper is thicker than like copy paper. So I'm getting used to feeling it not having more than one page. In this one, we have a cross back here that's kind of covered in ivy. I liked the green of the ivy. I think also the background of this particular background that I used, the leaves in this one are more ivy than clover. So I thought that tied in nicely. Excuse me. And then a lot of the imagery that I used throughout the kit, this one has the resurrection cross on it. A lot of the imagery that I used throughout the kit, I then decided to make some repeating pattern papers. So we have the clovers and a Celtic knot. And here they are again. It's the same kind of idea, just smaller and with a less busy background. Okay, so we have that. And then here we have the clovers with a Celtic cross, which I really like the Celtic cross. I think that's really pretty. And then on this one, we did the clovers with the Celtic cross, and here's kind of a rough angel. I'm going to need to clean my printer. That smudge is not in the kit. That's my printer specifically. So yeah. Anyway, so I shrunk it down to do the repeating pattern on this one, and I kind of took some of it out, to give this sort of stone angel here. And then here we have the flag and the cross, for Ireland, and, again, with a kind of printed background. And then in this one here again is the image of Christ praying, with the cross and the flag and the clover. And again, I shrunk it down to do the repeating pattern on this one, the more plain background. And again, removed to make the blank space for Christ's image in prayer, like I did with the angel. And then here's the flag with the Celtic knot. And again, kind of smaller. And so that's the kit. This is see if I can remember, this is a 15-page kit. So there are 15 pages in both. I always feel like I'm like, it's the same kit, but I always feel like I should show you just so you get an idea of what it looks like in this form. So it's the same thing. The prayer and St. Patrick, this one with the clovers, here with the flag. As always, when I'm having to make the adjustments for filling in more space in this direction and less space in this direction, you tend to end up stretching and kind of thinning out. I tried not to make them look too like stretched, skinny and tall or whatever. I think it turned out pretty good. I don't have any problems with any of the images. I think they were all successful in their transformation to this format. So I think it worked out good. I was even able to get, the image of Christ on here. He's just on the edge there. So it worked out good. I didn't mention in this particular one on both versions, there's the stone angel in the background, and she's back here behind Patrick in this picture as well. So we have that. And then here's the one with the ivy rather than the clovers. Okay. And then I did turn this on its side because when I just decided, okay, well, what if I just turn the page? It didn't look right to me. So I did put the pattern on the paper going this way. And I did it for all of the pattern papers. So you get all of them going in this direction. And of course, with the angel they're out of order. Well, in a different order, I should say. With the angel and with Christ, I did same. I kind of tried to make it so that they were big enough and then did the repeating pattern and I got it in here. I just was looking at this and I'm hoping that folding it doesn't. He's right up against it. His head is right up against the fold, but he does stay on the one page. Okay, so I was trying really hard to make sure that didn't get, cut off. Okay. But like I said, I did turn the pattern, especially the flag. It didn't look right at all. Just taking this version and standing it up on its side. It didn't look right to me. Because you would have taken it and stood it up on its side and your flags either would have been falling this way or falling or like blowing up that way. And I don't know. It didn't look right to me. So I turned those as well. So there's your St. Patrick's Day kit, St. Patrick's kits. This is, of course, the regular kit, and this is the tall, narrow kit. Listed in my shop, I usually just call them TN. So if you see the ones with the TN, they're going to be the ones going up and down like this. Okay, and your minis, as always, it's every page in the kit, in the mini kit, but in both directions. So you get wait, let me see how I did this. Okay, so you've got the landscape one and the tall, narrow one in both directions for the St. Patrick's Day pages. Or I should say for the pictures, the pages with St. Patrick. And then I might have... Oh, and then what I did for this was I just put the two together that use the same piece. So I didn't turn these in this one. So you're only getting the landscape version of these cards. So you get, this is the version with the cross, and then the version with the cross and the angel on the same page. And this is the version with the cross and the flag, and then the version with Christ with the cross and the flag on this page. And then these are the flag and the Celtic knot. Again, both versions on this page. Okay, so the minis are like that. So that's your mini kit. And again, this printing is me playing with my colors. All right. Finally, we have our fussy cuts. So I took some of the images I used in the repeating patterns and some of the images that I used in the backgrounds and kind of gave them to you to play with on cards and things. So you've got the cross with the ivy, and here's some of the ivy leaves and the clovers, the Celtic knot. Here's the Celtic knot with clovers and the flag by itself. And then here's two Celtic crosses in different sizes. So all of that. And then down here you have the resurrection cross that I used in the background. This is a candle, and I didn't even notice. In the kit, it's on a yellow background, so you can see the flame really well. So now it's just kind of a plaque with a cross on it, which I'm okay with that too. But it's already in and up like that. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could draw a white flame up there and cut it out. Sorry about that, guys. I hope that's not a discouraging factor. Then we have these cards. Again, my printer smudged. I'm a little upset. I'm going to have to, like I said, clean it. Here's some of our St. Patrick's images. I gave you some ovals of those. I tried to use some different shapes. Here, the cards for Christ are squares. This did not actually cut off. It just printed right up to the edge. So this is a square, and then this is a square. And you have the Christ image, and then you have the Christ silhouette. And then we have some clovers here. I took some of the St. Patrick images and made some bookmarks. So you've got 4 bookmarks there. Here you've got, this is an envelope, a couple of stamps that I made, and a card that will fit in this envelope with part of one of the prayers on it. Okay, and then for this one, I took a piece of the prayer and made a prayer card. And then on this one, it's just one of the background pages shrunk down to half a page. I did this one, and then I did the one with the angel and the one with Christ. I did make a page of small tags. So you've got a kind of a tall, narrow, regular flat top tag, and then some short, stubby flat top tags. And then this one with the nice little curve at the top. So just a little bit of a different shape there in the middle. Okay. And then here's, I took all of the fussy cut pages. I'm pretty sure it was all of them. Yeah. I took all of the fussy cut pages. So you get these, this page, the bookmarks, this page, this page, this page. Yeah. Okay. So the only one I didn't shrink was this one, because these are already small. So I did not shrink these. But all the rest of the ephemera, I shrunk to half size and gave you a half size of each of them, so that you've got a smaller version if you wanted it to make small cards or, you know, whatever, or you had some smaller pockets that you needed to stick something in. There's some smaller pieces here. So that's the ephemera kit for the St. Patrick's Day. All of these are up in my shop now. They are individual. So you have an ephemera kit, you have a minis kit, you have a tall narrow kit, and you have a regular landscape kit. And as I said, I put them up in my shop before I came and shot the video so that they would be there, so that when you saw this, and you click on the link below. Down in the description box, there's always a link to my shop. Go over there and check it out. I did pull up the Lenten kit from last year if you are interested in taking a look at that. And it's featured at the top of the front page of the shop. You'll also notice that I've moved all of my spring kits forward. So if you're interested in an Easter Bunny kit or something like that, I've moved them all forward. I don't know that I'll have time to make another one this year. So if you haven't seen them, I know the shop doesn't get too much traffic. So for a lot of you, they'll be new to you anyway. Head over and check out the Easter kits that I have up, and I hope that you will like them. But I hope you like this, and I hope you guys will go over to my shop and check it out. And God bless you this Lenten season, and I will talk to you as soon as possible. Bye-bye, guys.